The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Friday, March 21st. And today, you're going to love this, Jesse. Today is National Future Generations Day.
Yeah, I'm the master of that.
I know,
like
buddy.
Abraham over here.
I see. Oh, man. It's also National Memory Day today, you guys.
Owners need that.
You know, memories are important, bro. Very, very important. Otherwise, what are you going to remember?
When is it National Short-Term Memory Day?
That's on the shortest day of the year, Jesse.
Oh, okay.
Yes, shortest day of the year. It's also National Countdown Day.
Countdown.
Mm-hmm. I guess that must be for Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. Oh, who's that? Who just chimed in over there? The coffee voice. Is that Dr. Mark? Yep, that's Dr. Mark. I thought I recognized that cough. Good morning, Dr. Mark. It's National Countdown Day today. It's also National French Bread Day. For all those French bread lovers out there.
Love French bread, especially in France.
Oh, well, speaking of that, it's California. It's National California Strawberry Day.
Yeah, too bad they're sprayed with tons of pesticides.
Just got to wash them, bro. You just give them a little rinse, bro, and they're all good. They're golden.
Unfortunately, strawberries are the worst at absorbing pesticides.
Oh, man, you little naysayers. Totally ridiculous.
It's part of the being a Maha person.
Oh, boy. Man, I love me some strawberries, especially Harry's Berries. Harry's Berries has the best strawberries on the planet.
If they're organic, I'm down. Let's go. But 99% of them aren't.
Well, when you taste them, bro, you're going to be like, wow. Anyways, it's also National Fragrance Day. So shout out to the Terps.
Terps.
It's also National Common Courtesy Day.
All right.
So I guess today is the day to dump one, flush one. You know what I mean?
What?
You know what I'm saying,
What?
Rico? Yeah.
Well, I just won.
Dump one, flush one. You know the rule. Dump one, flush one. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I just won.
Well, it's under the assumption that you're dumping one at a time. You know what I mean? As you push one out, you got to dump it down.
I'm a man of multiple.
You like to let your turds linger, huh?
Yeah, sometimes they come out in groups. Very regular.
Packs. He's
He likes
pooping
to let him
packs.
float and spin.
Yeah, he's pooping.
I'm just a chill guy.
Well, you also love this one too, Jesse. It's National Single Parent Day. Shout out to all the single parents out there, especially all the single moms.
Yeah.
Jason's favorite.
We love single moms. I don't know why you guys laugh. I'm being serious. I'm genuine about that.
Most of them are not loving being single moms, bro.
I'm saying I have love for them is what I'm saying, Jesse.
Oh, okay.
We're not talking about the situation. I'm saying I have love for them and all the work that they do.
He's talking about strippers, Jesse.
No, I'm not. Stop it. Stop it, bro. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm talking about like single moms, bro. God, you guys are so degenerate sometimes, man.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Jenny Beth is going to be joining us a little bit late today. And obviously Dr. T is going to be, oh, there's Dr. T. There he is. All right. Well, Jenny Beth is going to be a little bit late today. But nonetheless, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, as well as on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And we are kicking it off with, that's right, with the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the Quasimodo caretaker, the man who has a gray beanie on today because it's Friday. That's right, it is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Thank you, Jason. It's actually, it's a beige or maybe even a taupe-ish.
It's
color,
freaking gray, bro. Oh, yeah. I guess. Okay. I see it clearer now. Yeah. I guess you could say beige or tannish. You know what I'm saying? So are you trying to compare yourself with like
Jason Beck correction already this morning?
No. I spit truthisms. Now that I'm seeing you all blown up, I can see that is beigeish, tannish. I wonder if we should just call you Danny Tanner.
No, please don't. Mm-hmm. But anyways, let's talk about New York cannabis, man. I got a hot one for New York cannabis, and it's about following the money. Mm-hmm. So follow the money Friday, y'all.
Yeah.
And so New York social equity operators were granted a small sigh of relief this week, with the OCM announcing a $5 million grant aimed to assist justice-impacted entrepreneurs with startup business costs. The OCM's press release on the grant went out Tuesday, but it strangely flew under most news outlets until yesterday evening, a full 48 hours later. Seems like a great opportunity to follow the money, and don't worry, we'll be doing just that today. But first, here's what it said. New York State launches $5 million card grant program to support retail cannabis entrepreneurs, a grant to help dispensary owners cover startup costs and strengthen business operations up to $30,000 in reimbursement grants available for eligible card licensees. Applications are open March 18th, 2025, earlier this week. Funds awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. New York State Office of Cannabis Management, the OCM, in partnership with Empire State Development, ESD, has launched a conditional adult use retail dispensary card grant program, a $5 million initiative designed to help licensed dispensary owners cover critical startup costs. Sounds pretty good, right, y'all? Sounds pretty good.
There's a catch somewhere. I promise.
Wait for it. I told you it's coming.
I'm telling you.
The program will provide grants of up to $30,000 per awardee to assist with expenses such as commercial rent, security equipment, point-of-sale systems, inventory tracking, and regulatory compliance improvements. The card grant is a crucial step in supporting New York's legal cannabis entrepreneurs as they establish and expand their businesses, said Felicia A.B. Reed, acting executive director of the New York State Office of Cannabis Management. By providing financial assistance for essential startup costs, we are reinforcing our commitment to an equitable and thriving cannabis market. The grant program is open to all active final card license holders who meet the eligibility requirements set forth by the OCM. To qualify, applicants must have a business bank account matching the name of their card license, be incorporated to operate in the state of New York, and be in full compliance with all state and local cannabis regulations. Funding details and eligible expense grant awards will be distributed on a reimbursement basis, meaning businesses must provide receipts for qualifying expenses to receive funding. Card licensees will be able to submit receipts for eligible improvements that fulfill OCM regulatory compliance requirements, including but not limited to commercial rent for the retail establishment authorized by the card license, cosmetic improvements to retail dispensaries, point-of-sale systems or hardware, inventory tracking systems, security systems and hardware, including retail installation costs, secure product storage and transportation systems and equipment, insurance costs, renovations, and other documented costs approved by OCM and ESD applicants must submit a minimum of $10,000 in ineligible expenses to qualify for a grant. Approved applicants will receive a one-time ACH payment for approved expenses. Funds will be awarded on a first-come, first-served basis until the $5 million allocation is exhausted. Eligible expenses can be reimbursed starting from the date the licensee received the final license notice from the office. Application timeline and next steps. Application for the card grant program will be opening. I already said that on Tuesday. Interested licensees should regularly check the OCM website for updates. And on behalf of the Office of Cannabis Management, Empire State Development has entered into a contract with Forward, a experienced third-party service to administer the card grant program. Interesting there. Forward will host a webinar to guide card licensees through the application on Tuesday, March 25th. Information about the webinar and link will be on the OCM website. So I'm gonna skim through all of that. So it sounds all good on the surface and everything. $10 to $30,000 ain't much, but every little bit counts. It is what it is. It might be, might get a little refund on the shit that you had to pay for out of pocket. So to all my New York card folks out there, social equity licensees, please apply and get your piece of that first come, first serve $5 million card grant money. So let's dig deeper. $5 million up for grabs for currently operating card licensees, more commonly known to the rest of us as social equity operators. But yeah, by the time that I found this story to cover, 4 a.m. Pacific this morning, I was only able to find 6 links mentioning this grant. 3 from local New York news sites on Tuesday, and 3 national cannabis news outlets yesterday evening made mention of it. So it made me wonder, why has Governor Kathy Hochul and OCM been so quiet about this? Sure, $10,000 to $30,000, first come, first serve. It's not much, every little bit helps, but maybe it's because this $5 million opportunity pot is about $195 million short of the private equity-backed $200 million DASNY fund promised 3 years ago to social equity operators right out the gate. $200 million back in 2022, hyped up by former NBA star Chris Webber, seeded by $50 million of Hochul's own budget dollars that mysteriously disappeared into hefty management fees given to a shady Chicago investment firm, questionably high DASNY executive salaries that was quietly shut down last May by the governor's team without a single dollar being distributed to the operators it was promised to. New York social equity got finessed out the gate, and it looks like they are trying to make operators whole on that money lost, to the tune of 2.5 cents on every dollar owed. But yeah, New York cannabis was supposed to be different. An industry built by and for the people. Remember that, Jason?
Oh, yeah. Weed for the people. Weed for the people.
New York social equity is a beacon of light, leading the social equity conversation in practice, format, and factor, giving over-policed communities hope and justice-impacted individuals an opportunity to earn generational wealth after all they have been through. And I like to take a moment to recognize that the historic reparations bill, H.R. 40, was reintroduced last month in the U.S. House of Representatives. 3 months after Donald Trump promised reparations to white males harmed by the impact of being denied their admittance into colleges and universities receiving any form of federal funding due to racist affirmative action and DEI policies. A whole lot of noise out there these days, y'all. Do not lose focus. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. I follow the fucking money.
Oh man, here's the whole thing, Rico. First come, first serve. This sounds super sketchy already. First come, first serve. I mean, I don't even think if you divided $50,000 up by $1 million, 30, I think that I don't 30
max.
Okay, $30,000. Okay, and how many $30,000 are in $1 million? You don't even have that many stores open in New York in total, whether they're Kurds or not. And I think all the Kurds need to say, wait, what the hell, New York?
We'll see.
Just do the math, bro. You like to follow the money, you know. And I'm smelling something pretty funny.
I don't know, man. I think they're quiet about it because they know they promised a whole lot before to another third party that ripped them the fuck off. I mean, they're in the wind, you know,
and now all these operators are out in the wind too, Rico.
Yeah, they've had to fight against like, all these trap shops that weren't shut down. They had to fight against all of these MSOs that got their licenses before they got theirs, and now they're up against absolutely everything. And here's $10,000.
And I mean, you know, like the rent in New York is not cheap, bro. That's not even paying people's rent.
And the press release, it wasn't like on PR Newswire or anything like that. It wasn't on any major like press release cables or anything like that. It looks like, I mean, it was maybe like sent out to a couple of local news sites, and that's it. So yeah, MJ Biz, Cannabis Business Times, and like one other picked it up late in the afternoon yesterday. But what the hell is this, man? Like this is fucked up, man. Like that's all I gotta say. This is screwed up. I feel bad for the folks out there trying to do the same, trying to do the right thing, and it's kind of embarrassing for their director to come out and say that their social equity is leading the way. Like, what the fuck is that, man? Like,
their social equity is kind of leading the way and showing exactly what not to do.
I don't know.
What do you got to say, Dr. T? I see you shaking your head over there.
There is more.
Oh, no, Jenny Beth, you want to say something? Go for it, Jenny. Oh, she froze. She's like Elsa. You need to turn your Wi-Fi off or something, Jenny Beth. Yeah, you sound like R2D2.
There you go. You're good now.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to say something. I mean, this is what we see happen in municipality after municipality, right? It's happening in LA right now. We had a meeting on Wednesday about where the fuck the social equity money has gone in the city of Los Angeles that was supposed to be going to grants, but was used for salaries and payouts. That's why we have a whole new admin team at DCR there in LA. It was very quietly dismissed and switched out. So, I mean, I think that it's more of the same. Like, it's not like, oh, we got screwed by some random entity that we hired because we hired a bad contractor to come in here and manage this. It's like, we never really intended to do this. It looks good in press releases, but we never intended for this program to work. And we never intended for you guys, criminals, social equity applicants, whatever they do you as,
they call
to be
them
able to
Kurds.
get through a licensing process in the first place to get this far.
They call them Kurds, Jenny Beth.
It is a bait and switch, and I feel like a lot of the early movers, man, it's just like LA all over again. That's why it pisses me off so much, because this is the same shit that they did to us out here.
Well,
and
New York was supposed to
do all of this shit, and it's just a waste of time. Like, I feel like a lot of the early movers, social equity applicants, the most at-risk folks, you know, that get in early, you're collecting data for these folks to just come in and learn how to do it right in the second or third round when these come out, and at a lower price.
New York was supposed to be the beacon of social equity, Rico.
Your car is off the lot, brand new, and eating up all the depreciation just for somebody to come buy it pennies on the dollar.
Man. Dr. Mark, I mean, you're pretty close to New York. You think you're going to be able to scrape up any of this money? Because it sounds like it's just going out to anybody.
Oh man, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a shit show. It's just Yeah.
I'm with you, Dr. Mark. I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to end up getting screwed. People are going to come in, I think, with good intentions and lose a lot of money.
I mean,
yeah, I don't see it ending well.
With New York rent, I mean, $10,000 to $30,000. I mean, for a lot of places, that's not even going to cover a month of their rent.
Yeah, rent and expenses, man. Like, remember we were talking shit about the old ease grants that they were giving. You know, ease did that big PR stunt. We're giving the X amount of people $50,000. I'm like, yeah, that's about a month. That's maybe a month of expenses, like if that.
Yeah.
You know?
These people, bro. These people are such clowns, bro. Such clown shows, and I don't understand why they're saying, "Hey, you know what? Only up to $30,000." Because, you know, I'm willing to bet that there's, if every single CURD applicant received $30,000, there's still going to be money left over. That's all that I'm saying. The math ain't mathing, bro.
No. I mean, they got folks open. They got folks open now. But the question is, you had to have, like, by the time all the money's going to be snatched up, you know, what about all the people who just got licensed right now? Like, they don't have like those big expenses. If you haven't incurred at least $10,000 in expenses, then you don't even qualify.
I'll say this: right? if you're an operator and you haven't are you still eligible for this if you haven't opened yet?
No, you're not.
Exactly. So, you know, this is just so freaking crazy. I rest my case. If every single CURD applicant got $30,000, there'd still be money left over in this fund.
These folks were supposed to have $200 million fund waiting for them right out the gate, right? And they just straight up got finessed with the Chicago investment firm that charged 15% fees on every dollar in. And they said they were going to raise at least $150 million by summer, and didn't raise a single dollar. All of that money went to salaries and Chris Webber and whoever was running Dasney, and it's just gone, man.
I think all the CURD applicants need to get together and file a class action lawsuit for misrepresentation from the state of New York, Chris Webber, Dasney, and all of them. And I bet you they would probably win.
I wonder how much of that money went into Operation Padlock and Protect.
Oh, man. And on that, we're going to roll into our first commercial, and we're going to be right back.
Oh, man. Your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, my left one, you know? And I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you know you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified? I might have to try some of this out. Where I'm even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Test it. It's not a name, it's a promise.
Commercial.
Yeah, we are back, Rico.
All right, y'all. Up with the second story of the day is New York's newest card licensee.
Yeah!
Head honcho.
Qualified, bro.
And the highest Republican in every room, every building, every state, and every city. Jason Beck. What do you got for us today?
Oh, man. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. You know, Rico, I have a similar story to yours, it seems like. You know what I mean? At least somewhat. You know, it's very, very scandalous. And I don't understand how this is how this is going on. And in the days of that we have witnessed such judicial overreach overall within our federal government, my story is even more about judicial overreach, and I can't wait for you guys to hear about this, because a judge rules that Minnesota can prosecute marijuana crimes on Reservations, Rico. That's right. The ruling addresses state law enforcement's jurisdiction over marijuana sales in Indian country following the state's legalization of adult use marijuana in 2023. A Minnesota district court judge ruled that the state may prosecute Native Americans on most reservations for possessing large amounts of marijuana, allowing a felony case against a white earth man to proceed. The ruling is the first, though likely not the least, and to address state law enforcement's jurisdiction over marijuana in Indian County since Minnesota's legalized its adult use back in 2023. Todd Thompson, a white earth citizen, faces a felony possession charge with a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine for selling marijuana without a license from his tobacco store in Mahoneman on the White Earth Reservation. Mahoneman County Sheriff's deputies and White Earth Tribal Police raided his store on August 2nd of 2023, a day after adult use cannabis became legal in the state of Minnesota, and seized about 7.5 pounds of cannabis, 433 grams of marijuana wax, and $2,748 in cash, along with Thompson's cell phone and surveillance system. Thompson asked Mahoneman County District Judge Seamus Duffy to dismiss the charge, arguing the state doesn't have the legal jurisdiction to prosecute him. And under what's called Public Law 280, Minnesota has the power to prosecute tribal members on certain reservations, including White Earths, for criminal acts but not civil or regulatory violations of state law. Thompson and his attorney, Claire Glenn, argued that after cannabis was legalized in Minnesota, possessing and selling the drug became a regulatory matter, not a criminal one, and the judge, in a ruling issued earlier this month, disagreed. He wrote that the possession of non-personal, non-adult use amounts of marijuana in public is generally prohibited, and that just because the state may issue licenses to business to sell marijuana, that doesn't mean it's only a regulatory matter. He pointed to the case in which a White Earth man was convicted of possessing a pistol without a permit on tribal land. And Thompson also argued that prosecuting him for possession of cannabis violated his rights under the United States 1855 treaty with Ojibwe, which guarantees the Ojibwe U.S. What's that?
We gotta stop you from doing Native American stories, man.
Sorry. USU factory rights to hunt, fish, and gather on ceded lands. Again, the judge disagreed, pointing out that even Thompson acknowledged marijuana was not used in a ceremonial way in the 1800s, and that treaties guarantee rights to tribes, not individuals. And Minnesota law does not limit the White Earth Nation's right to regulate marijuana on their land, the judge wrote. Thompson, through his attorney, said the ruling was disappointing but not surprising. And in a quote, they say, "Exercising my rights should not be controversial or complicated. But once again, the state has failed to respect our sovereignty, our Constitution, and our own rule of law that has existed since long before the state of Minnesota even existed," Thompson said. Thompson's attorney said they are considering their avenues for appeal, and complicating matters is the fact that criminal cases can typically only be applied after a conviction, which means Thompson could be forced to go to prison before being able to appeal the judge's ruling. The potential conviction of a Native American man for selling marijuana without a license would seem to cut against one of the central arguments Minnesota Democrats made in favor of legalization, which was to undo racial disparities in marijuana charges. But state Democrats even mandated that a certain number of licenses be set aside for so-called social equity applicants who have been disappropriately affected by the war on drugs. Even so, in the interest of public safety, state lawmakers maintain criminal penalties for possessing large amounts of cannabis or selling it without a license. And Thompson flouted those requirements in a direct challenge to state and tribal regulations. Like many Native people, he says he doesn't believe Public Law 280 is legitimate. He also says the White Earth Tribal Council, which voted just days before the state cannabis law took effect to legalize adult use cannabis and sell it from a tribal-run dispensary, overstepped its authority in establishing rules on cannabis sales. This isn't the first time Thompson has publicly taunted law enforcement in order to assert tribal sovereignty. In 2015, he was cited for illegally gillianting on Gull Lake without a permit. Thompson fought the charges, which were ultimately dropped, and years later, after a district court judge ruled that Thompson retained fishing rights on Gull Lake as a citizen of White Earth Nation. Thompson also successfully fought a citation by the State Department of Natural Resources for illegally harvesting wild rice on Haight of Land Lake in 2023, and prosecutors initially dropped that case in 2024, but refiled it last August, right before ricing season. Thompson argued the timing and delay was malicious, and on Wednesday, Becker County District Judge Michelle Lawson agreed. She dismissed the ricing case, ruling that prosecutors unnecessarily delayed bringing the case, which caused Thompson to miss 2 seasons of harvesting wild rice out of fear of further incidents with law enforcement, you guys. Well, I think this Thompson guy sounds like a true patriot, and I want to commend him for pushing back on all these ridiculous laws. And to me, this is a tremendous judicial overreach, again, that we've witnessed in the country, and I'm sure that there's going to be more, and hopefully this guy gets some retribution, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
It's Seamus, not Seamus. There's so many things, so many words that we could fix, but it's okay. I mean, this is crazy. But fortunately, you don't necessarily have your tribal sovereignty when it comes to regulated cannabis. And the reason that regulated cannabis plays a role in this is, you notice they didn't enforce on him until they had a state-sponsored program.
Just 2 days, Jenny Beth, 2 days after. It's like they were waiting.
It sounds like, okay, listen, I'm all for fight the power, all for it. But it sounds like this guy's a big fan of the FAFO method. So it seems like, I bet his taxes probably aren't paid either. Like, I don't know what else this guy could do. Like, I don't know, use some of your weed money to buy rice, but it sucks. It's just unfortunately the reality. When I've done licensing on tribal lands, they have to waive their tribal sovereignty to get a license issued. So that would then give enforcement agencies the ability to enforce on tribal lands.
Yeah, but he never went for a license, so he didn't give up any of those rights.
So somebody needs to get Coach Tim on the phone. Where's Tim Walls at? Isn't in your backyard, Timmy?
I know, and he's allowing for Native Americans to be prosecuted for cannabis, which goes against the Democrats' core beliefs on this. Just saying, more hypocritical.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, more hypocritical Democrats out there.
It's not the end of the story yet. Well, we'll give him time, just like we're giving your boy time to follow through on everything he said he's gonna do. Right?
How did we twist this into that already when we're talking about this guy on Native American land?
Yeah.
Like, already. Just ridiculous. Spin Master J over here.
This story just came out. I'm saying somebody need to get Tim Walls on the phone to rectify this situation.
You know, Tim Walls isn't going to do anything.
This ain't right. This is going down in his state. Like,
you really expect Tim Walls to do anything?
Like I said, I'll give him time to respond to this shit, but he needs to fix this shit. It's happening in his backyard.
I agree. He does need to do something.
Say something in the first place.
Go ahead, Jesse.
He would have to say something in the first place. He doesn't talk about this. He doesn't care anything about
Like I said, story just came out. Like, I'll give him time to respond, but somebody needs to get his ass on the phone and talk about this shit. I hope at these all these town halls and shit that he's been doing, somebody call him out on this.
Oh man, I hope somebody does.
That maybe Tim Walls hadn't heard about it before us. You think High at 9 News is breaking it to Tim Walls when it seems like, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Like I said before, I said somebody get him on the phone. It's happening in his backyard. Give him time to respond. Just like giving your boy time to respond on all the shit that's fucked up right now in America.
Ain't nothing fucked up in America, bro.
Yeah.
We're not don't take that bait, Jason. We are talking about Native Americans in fucking Minnesota. Do not take that bait. Rico, shame on you this week. No Jason. It's all whacked out. Friday, keeping this shit on track.
Yeah.
You can't resist.
Dr. T, what do you think about this, Dr. T?
Did I hear correctly that the judge said that Native Americans did not use cannabis in ritual in the 1800s?
Here, let me scroll back to that. Give me 1 second, Dr. T. Give me 1 second. I will confirm that exact sentence for you. Let's see.
I'm not sure that he would. How would he know?
Well, you have history books. You have history books, Dr. T.
Well, Native Americans don't write down their history. Often it's oral history.
Yep.
So Thompson also argued that prosecuting him for possession of cannabis violated his rights under the United States 1855 treaty with the Ojibwe, which guarantees the Ojibwe I don't know how to say this word. USUFR usufractionary rights is.
It's the Ojibwa tribe. Ojibwa.
Okay, Ojibwa tribe. Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out this other word. USUFRUCTUARY rights to hunt, fish, and gather on ceded lands.
Got it.
Yeah, trust me, I know, Jesse. I wonder if they
something to do with usury or something.
Yeah. I wonder if they misspelled it in the article. Is what I'm really wondering. Yeah.
I doubt that's the issue. But yeah, okay, so basically, unabridged, uninhibited, unobstructed rights to harvest and fish. And, Yeah, got it. Is what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's correct.
It basically means sovereign.
But that's his argument about the rice, not his argument about the cannabis, right?
Well, his argument about the cannabis is that one, that he never signed up for a license, and not to mention that it doesn't give them jurisdiction over him. That if anybody was to raid him or do something, it should have been the tribal police and not the state government of Minnesota. And so therefore his if anyone was going to come down on him, it should have been under tribal law and under a tribal court, not necessarily the and his other second argument is that once the adult use law went into effect on the tribe and in the state of Minnesota, that became a civil matter, not a criminal matter. That's his argument.
Well, that one's a shitty argument because we know that that's not how that works with a federally prohibited substance when you are not licensed and operating under a state-sanctioned manner.
It's not a state-sanctioned manner, though, Jenny Beth. He's on tribal land. It's different. It's tribal law. Tribal law. You don't got no jurisdiction over there, government.
I need to read what is in the laws that were passed when Minnesota passed cannabis. Because it is possible
pull out your reading glasses.
Have encompassed their policy about tribal land in that, which would then give the police the right to go on. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just explaining to you what they're probably going to tell this poor guy.
Well, I mean,
that wouldn't trump
I stated
federal
that.
law. Like the reservations and how those laws break down, isn't that federal? States can't just trump that with
exactly.
Law.
Thank you, Jesse. Glad someone got some sense over here.
Well,
I think North Carolina is like the
I'm
only
not saying
one.
they should. I'm just telling you the thought pattern that they're using when they're doing it.
Yeah, the thought pattern is totally wrong. Shout out to our Native American allies out here fighting the good fight. Mr. Thompson. This guy's a patriot. Give this guy a feather.
That was
wow,
racist.
Jason.
No, I'm saying. Oh, God, you guys. You know what? We're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into Dr. Jean Tallyrand. He's the founder of the CESC and of Medican. That's right, where you can get your doctor's recommendations. He's been writing doctor's recommendations so long that he probably even wrote your parents' recommendations if they are smokers too. That's right, is none other than Dr. Jean Tallyrand.
Dr. Jean, Dr. Jean, Dr. Jean.
Thank you, Jason. Happy Friday, everyone. Not just smokers. A lot of the parents are using edibles. Anyway, my story today comes from Marijuana Moment. Ending drug testing for cannabis during pregnancy improved racial parity without harming babies. American Medical Association study says, by Ben Adler. So a new federally funded study published by the American Medical Association finds that removing isolated cannabis use as a reason to order urine drug screenings during pregnancy was associated with improved racial parity in testing and reporting of test results to Child Protective Services. with no evidence of decreased identification of non-prescribed non-cannabis substances, that means illegal drugs, and no significant association between the intervention and any measured neonatal outcomes. That means the babies turned out okay. A report published on Monday in the journal JAMA Network Open notes that urine drug screenings are often used during pregnancy to guide prenatal care. And some states require that positive results for federally illegal substances be reported to Child Protective Services. Authors from Washington University in St. Louis, however, suggest that the harms of that practice sometimes outweigh the benefit. Eliminating cannabis use as a reason to order drug screening, they wrote, better protects families and promotes parity by reducing racial bias in urine drug screening and reporting to Child Protective Services without impacting the identification of clinically meaningful substance use. The report notes that Black patients are significantly more likely than their white counterparts to undergo peripartum urine drug screening and subsequent reporting to Child Protective Services. The fear of a CPS report and a possible loss of custody of a newborn child can get in the way of needed care, which can further exacerbate racial disparities in health. The research team emphasized that its findings aren't meant to condone cannabis use during pregnancy or suggest that reporting dangerous situations to Child Protective Services isn't important. Rather, they're meant to encourage a better balancing of risks to parents and their children. We acknowledge that CPS referral may have safety benefit in some clinical situations and is certainly indicated in cases of child abuse, authors wrote. However, these authors would challenge the assumption that parental substance use, particularly of cannabis, which is legal in the state of Missouri, constitutes such a scenario. The report also grants that removing isolated cannabis use as an approved urine drug screen order indication will naturally raise reasonable concerns about the impact of maternal cannabis use on the developing fetus. Cannabis is the second most common, after alcohol, psychoactive substance used during pregnancy. Several observational studies have reported negative association among fetal cannabis exposure, fetal development, neonatal outcomes, and neurocognitive development, it notes, pointing to advice from the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists that people who are
Did you hit mute on accident, Dr. T? Oh, there we go. There we go. You're back.
Notes that advice from the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists that people who are pregnant are thinking about becoming pregnant should avoid cannabis use. Although we recognize the potential harm of in utero exposure and agree with ACOG's position, the authors continued, cannabis use during pregnancy in and of itself does not indicate that a person is potentially unfit to parent. This study demonstrates that certain laws have implicit bias. In requiring testing for cannabis use and contacting CPS for positive tests, pregnant women are subject to interrogation and investigation. I want to point out that using cannabis during pregnancy is associated with negative outcome. However, there's no proof that cannabis causes the negative outcome. Association is not causation. However, using cannabis without the potential for losing your child is what this study suggests, and that's a good thing. This is Dr. Jean Tallyrand with Iodine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for covering this story, Dr. T, and some really good insight too. Since you and Dr. Mark weren't on, we had a similar story about Ohio getting funding scratched by Doge for a report looking for parity in certain women in cannabis studies.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like any kind of, you think like all of these studies like going forward that could have been beneficial, given us beneficial information like this are going to go forward under Doge? Do you think all of these are just going to get scrapped because they're seen as woke studies?
a good point, because, is this an example of a DEI study, right? Is this an example of, but, racial bias is a reality. I don't know if anybody disagrees with that. Maybe some do. And
our government does currently.
And certain practices definitely put certain populations at a disadvantage. And pulling back on this practice is a great idea by the state of Missouri. If they're going to do this, this is a study performed in the state of Missouri.
Jenny Beth, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, by and large, this testing is done on women who are on state-sponsored health care. So these are Medicaid patients, which are largely more Black and brown. There are a ton of white people as well, but like I went through my pregnancy at Kaiser. Never once did I get drug tested. My baby wasn't tested when he was born. So I think that this is an attack on. It's not just an attack on Black and brown. It's a classist system. So I think that that's a problem, and I don't think that this equates to the Ohio study that was being done to prove negative impact of predisposition of cannabis use syndrome, which I think Dr. T probably would agree doesn't really exist and is in a detrimental situation on members of the LGBTQ community. So I think that looking at that and looking at the health of prenatal care and pregnant mothers are very, very far apart. And we should probably acknowledge that those are two very different things when we're looking at DEI and being woke. Being woke is not looking at the health of a baby. And this isn't really about the health of the baby. This was never about the health of the baby. This is about finding a way to tear apart low-class Black and brown families.
Jenny Beth, I wholeheartedly disagree, because as soon as they say something that is benefiting, or if it says Black, if it says disparaged, if it says there is disparity, and it mentions race in any form or fashion, that already brings up a buzzword on their list, and they're slashing. So I would just have to wholeheartedly disagree with you, because they said that specifically. And the folks that were working there and the whistleblowers that have left said that they literally cannot say that, and they're being screened for those words, and programs are getting cut with any of that information in them. So I 100% disagree. So, and it's
And
not
in the
me.
words of a wise man,
It's not me talking shit. It's not me trying to.
We understand you disagree. So let's let Jenny speak.
Trying to be political about it. Like this is just reality of today. That studies like this that may or may not benefit people of color are just going to get slashed because you're even looking at this kind of stuff.
Well, this study is proposing that anyone who says that they use cannabis, whether you're Black or white, is not tested for using for using cannabis. Should not be tested for THC. So
it's all encompassing. You're saying, Dr. T.
But it does have benefit to the Black community, who currently is sort of targeted by the current laws.
Were you saying, Jenny Beth?
Oh, I was just going to say that's just like your opinion, man. But I digress. It doesn't matter at this point. I mean, everything's political, but like at this point, like let's try and keep the focus on the fact that this is about pregnant mothers, right? So this is not about, injecting inflated opinions. This is about mothers and children. And I don't think that anybody is going to disagree that a study that's about women and children is probably going to go forward.
Yeah.
Especially
when it's National Single Mother's Day.
Hey, where are my flowers?
Yes. Well, you should have been here on time. You would have got them, Jenny Beth.
Jason, you said it was Single Parents Day. You said nothing about single mothers. You said it was single
moms are single parents, Rico.
But it's not national.
Single moms are single parents too, bro. I don't understand why you're trying to be so just.
You moving the goalposts already, bro.
I'm just stating the facts, bro. I'm just stating the facts. You know what I'm saying? Just stating the facts.
You left us single dads out of the.
I did leave single dads out. I did that. Right, yes, I did. I did.
I think maybe single dads should get reparations.
Oh boy. Because shout out to all the single dads out there too. Shout out to all the single dads out there. But much love to all the single moms
for bomb humor. That
shout out to all the single moms out there. Rico,
Shout out
this
to
is
all the single parents.
this is for you, Rico.
Shout out to everybody,
Dr.
man.
T, I have a question that's actually relevant to
encompassing.
the story.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know. Aren't there a lot of studies that have already disproven that there's any real effects towards the child from cannabis use, and they've tried to associate like the kid growing up and being potential for CUD? Isn't that really the only story that's happened?
No, there are studies that show that people who use cannabis tend to have children with negative outcomes. That's what they're claiming.
But those were association. They were proven.
Associations.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Right.
and if the studies are done during illegal times, you're essentially a person doing an illegal thing, and you may be doing other illegal things as well, and so that tends to create negative outcome.
Has there been any attempt to comprehensively study this in more recent times in legal states?
Yeah, and there won't be because of the ethics of studying this appropriately with children. It sort of will always be debatable because ethically would be wrong to subject someone to exposure to cannabis.
So this would always be just anecdotal, and whatever you already believe, your confirmation bias will be confirmed by other people.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Well, there were some, when I was pregnant with Parker, I wanted to know, right? So I looked at some studies that were not in the US. Parker was born in 2012. So I looked at some studies that were done in Canada and some things that were done in Israel. And they were pointing to things like higher birth weight, which for the mom sucks, but for the baby, not a problem. And an increased instance of ADHD and ADD. And those were the things that I found, but I don't know as much as Dr. T does. Those were just when I was doing my mom research, when it was pertinent to me.
Mhm.
So they found an association which increased ADD, basically ADHD. Okay. Yeah. But again, these are associations.
Mhm.
I personally think cannabis using parents are good parents. But that's been my experience in Northern California.
Fair enough. Well, this has been very, very fascinating. We're going to roll into our next commercial, and we are going to be right back. The control tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The control tower from Highly Educated. There we go. And we are back. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and all of the articles that we cover on today's show you can read directly on our website at www.highatnightnews.com.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
Jeez.
And we are back, Rico.
Yes, we are back. I hope you guys got your blue books ready and ready to expand your minds to a little nor'easter of information coming from a natural plant extraction genius is now passing on knowledge, passing it forward to the youths out there in the beautiful state of Vermont. Here to break us off with our first story of the second half of today is none other than Dr. Mark Scialdone. You're muted, my man.
You're on mute, Dr. Mark. You're on mute, Dr. Mark.
Sorry about that.
There we go. There we go. Yep, we hear you now.
Dr. Mark, when are we going to get a what is Italians' version of St. Patty's Day? You know, trying to show some love. You know.
I don't know. St. Valentine's Day. I don't know.
Ooh, Valentino. Yeah.
I don't know. They're just Hallmark holidays, right?
Everything is. The Feast of Saturnalia is a we don't go into that. So what you got for us today, Dr. Mark?
Well, I hope you guys are having a great week. It's a beautiful sunny day up here in Vermont. I hope it's a sunny day where you live. I hope you have some great plans for the weekend. And hopefully cannabis is part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my story today comes from the Gambit, and it's entitled NOLA's first THC-infused cold brew, Brew Dat, hits coffee shops and shelves. And I'll have to say, I didn't realize it was a sponsored article. So the company that basically is behind this product sponsored the article. So it's basically a commercial for this company, but let's read it anyway. So New Orleans just got a new way to wake and bake. Fleur de Lis, a Louisiana-based nanotechnology cannabis powder processing company, oh, that's a lot to say, that specializes in THC drinks, has launched Brew Dat. Dat spelled D-A-T, right? Brew Dat. The city's first 5 milligram THC-infused ready-to-drink vanilla cold brew. Wow, that sounds good, doesn't it? Now available in local cafes and grocery stores, including Rouse's and a bunch of other places I won't name. Okay. This smooth energizing brew is redefining the coffee scene. Distributed by, some company who also supplies another company. Brew Dat is just another, or isn't just another trend. It's a game changer in NOLA's coffee culture. This has become a new, healthier choice for everyone, says Diamond. That's the distributing company. Unlike alcohol or sugary energy drinks, Brew Dat brews a smooth, balanced lift with no grogginess or hangover, making it the go-to for soccer moms, coffee lovers, and anyone looking to stay focused and relaxed. With the new Louisiana laws lowering the THC limit to 5 milligrams, I take it that's 5 milligrams per drink, right? I take it.
Yes.
That's what that limit is. Okay. So 5 milligrams. That's kind of on the low side, but okay. And banning new bars and restaurants from applying for consumable hemp licenses. The market is now wide open for coffee shops and cafes to take the lead in THC-infused beverages. This shift could pave the way for local coffee chains such as Starbucks, PJ's, Pacino's, and Moho to enter the game should they choose. Nationally, companies like Coffee Holding Company in New York and Portland, Maine-based brands have already established CBD and hemp-derived Delta-9 coffee in Midwest and East Coast cafes, signaling a growing trend throughout the country. With Louisiana's coffee culture booming, Brew Dat at Fleur de Lis is leading the charge and bringing NOLA's first THC-infused coffee to the forefront. With 80 milligrams of caffeine. Ooh, 80 milligrams of caffeine. Is that a lot? I don't know. Does anyone drink coffee drinks? 80 milligrams.
That's a normal cup of coffee. 70.
That's like a normal
80.
cup of coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with 80 milligrams of caffeine and a gentle 5 milligrams of THC infusion, Fleur de Lis has crafted Brew Dat into a silky vanilla cold brew that's naturally sweetened and packed with coconut water and natural monk fruit for rich, creamy texture with only 45 calories per can. And then it goes on and talks about it a little bit more. I didn't realize this article was a commercial. I just thought it was kind of cool because, yeah, coffee culture is a thing. And why not let coffee, houses, Starbucks, and here in the Burlington area, we have a lot of, just kind of like mom and pop coffee shops. Be great if they can carry like a THC infused coffee there. So I just think it's a great fit. Coffee and weed, I think, go naturally together. So I was happy to see this. I was just disappointed after reading the article, realizing that it was a sponsored article by the company who's trying to sell this Brew Dat. But that's my story today. Sorry, it was a weak one this week on science, but it did talk about nanoemulsion, so I guess we could talk about that. So nanoemulsions, you do have to nanoemulsify cannabis oil. You can't just put cannabis oil into tea or coffee. In some cases, there's like if you add like a lot of milk to your coffee, the milk could help emulsify the cannabis oil. For the most part, it's going to oil out and create like an oil sheen or oil droplets on top of the coffee itself. So I think having a nano emulsified version of THC is not only going to make it not oil out, it's going to make it taste better. But also, as myself as the guinea pig, I'm telling you, these nano emulsions with low doses of THC work even for heavy THC users. So I think there's been a lot of advances in making emulsions stable so they're not losing their potency to the side of the cans that these beverages are packed in. But also they've really improved on the flavor of these things. A couple of years ago, they tasted all like medicine. Now they don't really have much of an aftertaste at all. So they figured out the taste game. They figured out the stability game. So beverages are going to be a growing sector, I think, for years to come. And, this is just one of them, a coffee one down in New Orleans. So that's my story today, guys. I'm going to be interested in what you all have to say.
I mean, I really don't think that coffee and cannabis, as far as in a singular product, go together. I think drinking coffee and smoking cannabis or smoking hash or anything else like that goes together perfectly. But as far as like, I'm not excited to have a medicated coffee. That doesn't excite me.
Why?
Well, that's good, Jason.
Because it's
Guess what? The corporate people who are sitting at their little cubie and are really not looking forward to Steve from accounting coming up and bothering them at 8 o'clock in the morning are looking forward to it.
Maybe those employees need to be dosed because it sounds very unproductive over there.
I agree with you. I think there's nothing like consuming cannabis when you're drinking your first cup in the morning. That's just a great high.
Yeah.
And I think the pairing of consuming cannabis and coffee together are a wonderful thing. I'm open to see like what these beverages do. I mean, talk about a functional beverage. Coffee is definitely one of them. With 80 milligrams of nicotine, you can imagine they put 80 milligrams of THC in there. You're going to be happy for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean,
there's a couple things going on. First of all, CBD coffee has been around for a bit. So it's interesting that now they're having THC coffee. And CBD also goes well with coffee because it counteracts that stimulating effect that irritates some people who drink, who don't like that stimulating effect, overstimulating effect of coffee. So CBD.
How is the CBD emulsified, Dr. T? Is it just put into like a creamer or something, or how do they formulate it into the coffee?
I'm not sure. It looks like they're putting it in pods, though. So I'm not sure if it's nano emulsified or what they're doing to it to put it in the pods. But they have it out there. And that's Nespresso pods with CBD. It looks like. Is that
from is that the Bulletproof brand that you're looking at, Dr. T? Because I know Bulletproof is a big coffee brand overall, and then they got into the cannabis side.
I don't see Bulletproof. I see Strava. Sunset Lake CBD. Yeah, I don't see Bulletproof. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So isn't part of the whole Bulletproof recipe having MCT in there as well?
Yeah.
And it's the MCT that could basically be the vehicle for cannabinoids, but it's still going to oil out, right? I mean, I know some people put butter into their coffee, and the butter certainly creates an emulsion that can help solubilize cannabinoids. And they also say is that if you, again, with this bulletproof coffee, part of the reason why it acts as a appetite suppressant is because the mixture of fat, you're supposed to use ghee, which is clarified butter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you use ghee and MCT, there's something that really enhances the appetite suppression in just like an 80 milligram dose of caffeine that leads to, again, I guess, using your coffee as kind of a way of controlling your diet. I've seen it in some people. They claim that it works. So
it sounds like the same thing as drinking celery juice first thing in the morning. An oily cup of coffee sounds like you're going to, shit your brains out.
Quite the opposite, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Coffee doesn't make you poop?
Full keto diet, which is why you would be drinking bulletproof coffee in the first place, and having butter and MCT oil. You actually get very, very solid bowel movement.
Interesting.
Lovely.
Interesting.
I know, because I did it for 2 years. So.
Tell him.
Oh, good.
Tell him, Jess.
Excellent.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we are going to keep this train rolling, and we're going to roll right into our final commercial, and we're going to be right back.
Oh man, your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, my left one, you know? And I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you know you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified? I might have to try some of this out. Where I'm even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Test it. It's not a name, it's a promise.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And we're back, you guys. Coming up next is Mr. Jesse Barney. He's the founder of Barney Design Co. that specializes in graphic branding, design, and can help your brand elevate, possibly even higher than the weed that you're putting in your bag. That's right. It is none other than Mr. Jesse Barney.
Yes. Thanks, Jason. Love the introduction. Much approved, much appreciated. My story today comes out of Reason Magazine by Jacob Sullum. And I love this headline. A federal judge in Utah orders local officials to return a religious group's psychedelic sacrament. The ruling by U.S. District Judge Jill Parrish emphasizes that religious freedom must protect unpopular or unfamiliar religious groups as well as popular or familiar ones. When Bridger Lee Jensen opened a spiritual center in Provo, Utah, he contacted city officials to let them know what would be happening there. The religious group he had founded, Singularism, would be conducting ceremonies involving a tea made from psilocybin mushrooms. Singularism is optimistic that through partnership and dialogue, it can foster an environment that respects diversity and upholds individual rights, Jensen wrote in a September 2023 letter to the Provo City Council. And Mayor Michelle Kaufusi, Jensen, who wanted to establish an open line of communication with local officials, said he would be happy to answer their questions and invited them to visit the center. Jensen's optimism proved to be unfounded. The city did not respond to his overture until more than a year later when Provo police searched the Singularism Center and seized its sacrament, about 450 grams of mushrooms and mushroom-like material that the group kept inside of a locked safe. The seizure was the result of an investigation in which the undercover officer posed as a would-be singularism facilitator. That raid happened on November 11th, 2024, less than 8 months after Utah Governor Spencer Cox had signed the state's version of the Federal Religious Freedom Restoration Act, or RFRA. That law likely protects singularism psychedelic rituals, a federal judge last month. U.S. District Judge Jill Parrish granted Jensen's request for a preliminary injunction against the city and county officials, ordering them to return the mushrooms and refrain from further interference with the group's sincere religious use of psilocybin while the case is pending. In this litigation, the religious exercise claims of a minority and theogenic religion put the state of Utah's commitment to religious freedom to the test, Parrish writes in Jensen versus Utah County. If such a commitment is to mean anything, she says, it must protect unpopular or unfamiliar religious groups as well as popular or familiar ones. Parrish notes that the very founding of the state of Utah reflects the lived experience of that truth by members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In light of that history, she suggests it is ironic that not long after enacting its RFRA to provide special protections for religious exercise, the state of Utah should so vigorously deploy its resources, particularly the coercive power of its criminal justice system, to harass and shut down a new religion it finds offensive practically without any evidence that the religion's practices have imposed any harms on its practitioners. That vigorous deployment of law enforcement resources included drug charges that Utah County Attorney Jeffrey Cray filed against Jensen in December, 5 days after Parrish issued a temporary restraining order based on her initial assessment of the case. The defendants also sought to strengthen their criminal case with discovery requests that Parrish deemed offensively overbroad. They wanted to know, for example, each instance where Jensen consumed drugs prohibited by the Controlled Substances Act between 2015 and the present. They also sought documents sufficient to identify each individual to whom plaintiffs have administered psilocybin from 2019 to present. Those requests, Parrish notes, concerned criminal conduct far in the past and effectively demanded singularism to disclose the identities of all individuals who had affiliated with the religion, she thought. The sheer breadth of the requests suggested that the defendants were trying to use discovery in the civil case to investigate plaintiffs for the pending state criminal case, a patently improper purpose. Parrish notes that her injunction does not prevent the government from continuing to prosecute Mr. Jensen in the pending state criminal case, nor does it address Jensen's argument that his group's activities are protected by the federal and state constitutions. Parrish is delaying consideration of those issues until April 11th, giving Utah Attorney General Derek Brown a chance to present evidence or argument on the constitutional questions should he wish to do so. But because Parrish concluded that Jensen is likely to prevail on his RFRA claim, her order does bar the defendants from continuing to harass his group. It goes on, and the story is pretty long, but it's pretty awesome that this judge is at least siding with Jensen and his group, the Singularism Group, which I think is an interesting name as well. And giving it back to them and defending them on the basis of religion. I think that's pretty awesome. I'd love to hear what everybody else has to say.
Well. These mushrooms, bro. Mushrooms are mushrooms that big in Montana?
This is Utah.
Or Utah. I'm sorry. They're right next to their neighbors. My bad. I apologize.
They're separated by Idaho.
They're still neighbors, bro. They're still like in the same general area.
They're neighbors like Utah's a neighbor to California.
Yeah. Whatever, Jesse. Whatever.
I'm making fun.
Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying this.
We're all enjoying this.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, these I could just imagine going on to going on to like one of these compounds in Utah and just tripping out on mushrooms.
I can't
You'd have-
imagine what a church service like that would be like.
Oh, bro. I
Or
mean,
what they're even doing, or what's even happening, or how long it lasts.
oh man.
I mean, it'd have to be a while. I mean, they're probably microdosing, right? I mean, it'd be like hard to macrodose, have a reasonable length service, and then still get out of there in time for, beat everybody to the buffets without tripping your dick off and driving safely. So,
Well, they're
I don't
definitely not
know.
making it clear what exactly the rituals are like, other than they're making a tea, and I would assume that the tea's probably fairly strong.
So these motherfuckers,
Probably.
these guys in there just like absolutely mollywop.
Yeah. Are these guys?
Bro.
Are these guys doing like doing like the 8 gram you know what I'm saying, tea doses or whatnot?
We don't know. All we know is that they took 450 grams worth of mushrooms, so a pound worth of mushrooms. They had a pound on site, and they're making tea with it. Whether they were doing an entire pound in the tea or whether they were doing, who knows? Maybe they were only doing like 8 grams, and it was a super microdosed thing in one batch.
Microdosing is so lame.
Whatever, dude. I'm on a microdose right now, and I love it.
It's lame. It's still lame.
I played a golf tournament on a microdose a few weeks ago, and I played the best golf of my life.
You thought you played the best golf of your life. You were out of your
No,
mind.
I actually shot an 82. It was like one of the best rounds of my life. Thank you fucking so much.
You must have misscored
Nick
yourself.
Bradley's seen me play. He can attest to the fact that that was probably a lot to do with the mushrooms and practice and repetition. But no, Jason, I mean, like, here's my proposal to you. Since you want to have all these like and try to figure your thoughts out, right? Here's a thought. Why don't you do some investigative journalism? This church has said pull up. Jason, why don't you use some of those super chats? Because you got like $100 in super chats the other day. Like, you've been doing some good numbers on super chats. So you guys throw one in the chat if you think Jason should use the super chat money to do an investigative report. Go to this Utah church, take them up on fuck around and find out, and go see what
There is not enough money in super chats to pay for me to go to Utah. Okay. First of all, when I go to Utah, there's only one hotel that I stay at, and that's the Grand America Hotel in Salt Lake City. Okay. It is basically the Trump International equivalent of a hotel in the state of Utah.
So basically, Jason's saying that he's not dedicated enough to the craft to inconvenience himself for an evening.
It's a lot. It's just I'm just saying that the super chat money would not even pay for one night stay in the hotel is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he would have to go to Provo, and I don't think he would enjoy Provo.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to Provo. That just sounds dangerous.
It'd pay for the
I'm
Uber to the
surprised that
airport.
they're in Provo. Like, Provo is a very conservative place.
I love conservative places.
Then you would love it.
I don't know. See, I'm not buying all of this, Jesse. I'm not buying all this. You know what I mean? But if someone wants to actually fund the whole trip, I would be down to do it. But they would have to fund the whole trip, and I'm not
$1,000.
Yeah, I'm not a cheap date. That's for sure.
Well, guess you're not dedicated to the craft. All right.
Call it whatever you want, Jenny Beth. You could spin it however you want it. Dr. T, what do you think about this? I mean, have you experimented at all with patients and them dosing themselves with mushrooms?
Not many, a handful at least. Many of them do like the microdosing effect, so that they can carry out their daily tasks. Feel relaxed, or it may help with people who get depressed. Sometimes that's beneficial.
I started microdosing again after the story that I read about the rats and the head injuries and how they were improving head injuries. Not that I have a head injury, but I just liked the fact that it was improving neural pathway growth. And I was like, oh, I have a bunch of mushroom products at my house, and I've just not even been taking them. I should start regularly taking them. So I did, and it's awesome.
Interesting. Interesting. I mean, Ben LeBone says in the chat that I should rent a RV and do the High at 9 News road trip. And in all fairness, Ben, I do have a Starlink roam, so that could be possible. But here's the thing, is that the amount of time that it would take for me to travel to Provo, Utah. Okay, I would not want to risk that time in getting pulled over. Okay, in a lot of those places.
By your geographical, thoughts, just our neighbor.
What?
You only have to drive through Nevada, bro.
It's the whole point of the amount of time, okay? Because I believe that, you drive X number of hours, you're going to get pulled over X number of times. And so I'm not willing to increase my time on the road to my getting pulled over ratio to pull that off, is my point.
Well, this is in direct correlation to how fast you drive.
That is, I do drive very fast, Jesse, and you know this. I'm probably the most efficient driver you've ever met.
You would have to drive the speed limit the whole way.
That would not happen. That would not happen. I would not do that. The roads. Yeah, I'm way too fast for the road.
Jason Beck driving an RV at all, first of all.
Oh, bro, I'd still be doing 80, 100 miles an hour in the fast lane, flying in the RV.
Even in bobbing.
All day.
Yeah, that's not how that works, Jason.
It is. It's how I work, Jenny Beth. Because I'm efficient.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's prove it right now.
All right. Well, fair enough. We're going to move right into the efficiency side, and we're going to roll right into Miss Jenny Beth Dills. She's the founder of Kind Cannabis to help you with all of your efficiencies and protocols and all of that fun stuff. And she's also the founder of Justice Served, a 501c3 that helps justice-impaired individuals get their life back on track. That's right. It is none other than Miss Voice of the South herself, America's sweetheart, Miss Jenny Beth Dills.
Yes. And to answer the earlier question, the Italian version of St. Patrick's Day actually happened 2 days ago. It was March 19th. It's the Feast of St. Joseph, which honors Mary's husband, Jesus' dad. So there you have that.
Look at that. The Feast of St. Joseph. Look at that.
Yes. All right. So big news out of Hawaii. State lawmakers are moving to significantly expand access to medical marijuana. On Wednesday, a pair of Senate committees advanced a bill that would let healthcare providers recommend medical cannabis for any condition they deem appropriate, breaking away from the current law's limited list of qualifying illnesses. The change, supporters say, would give more patients access to potentially life-changing treatment. The bill, House Bill 302, has already cleared the Senate House and now heads to the full Senate. One key amendment would also allow recommendations from a healthcare provider, even without an initial in-person consultation, marking a shift towards greater flexibility in how patients can access care. Karen O'Keefe with the Marijuana Policy Project testified in support, noting that doctors already prescribe far more dangerous medications off-label. She urged Hawaii to join the 10 other states that have given providers.
Jenny, you're cutting out, Jenny. Whatever you're doing, you're cutting out. You got yourself frozen. She's stuck in time. Her internet is crapping out on her, you guys.
Oh, no.
Jenny Beth, your internet is crapping out on you, Jenny Beth. Basically, Jenny Beth's story is that in Hawaii, they are putting together a whole number of new ailments that you can get medical cannabis for. And so I think this is a fantastic news overall for the state of Hawaii as far as qualifying conditions for patients to be able to qualify for medical cannabis in the great state of Hawaii. So I'm all for that. And I'm going to try to pull up the article real quick since Jenny is frozen in time real quick, and I'm going to see if I can find what the actual, all of the qualifying new conditions. If they list them. Oh, there she is.
Expanding
That's
access.
not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the list of qualifying conditions would be going away. The doctor could prescribe for whatever they feel necessary.
Oh, so it's everything. It's going to be like California. It's going to be like how California was in the beginning.
That's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Are they gonna have sign spinners like get your license here, get your medical card here?
Hold on, Hawaii Beach. Hawaii Beach is going to turn into Venice Beach, the whole state.
Hawaii Beach. Jason doesn't even know American geography, man.
I do.
You missed it, Rico. There have already been glaring examples of that earlier in the show.
Was there?
Stop it,
apparently,
you guys.
Montana and Utah are neighbors because fuck Idaho.
They're close. You know, I mean, it's Idaho. It's where they're so thin.
They're not.
Not that part of the state. That's the thickest part of Idaho, bro.
You like
The thin part is between Washington.
Oh man, you guys are so easy to trigger.
Use super chat money to get a fucking atlas.
You guys are so easy to trigger. It's so great. I have my Thomas guide still, Jenny Beth. I still use it.
Out, little light reading while you poop, you know.
You should get a green book. You should get a green book too, Jason. Jenny Beth knows what I'm talking about.
Dr. T, what do you think about this? I think this is fantastic for the patients out there in Hawaii, because now basically they can get a recommendation for any condition that they see fit, as long as the doctor is willing to write it, right?
Yeah, this is the right way to do it. I mean, the presumption that we know what cannabis is beneficial for, and so we can list specific diseases is not the way this plant works. It generally affects the nerves and immune system, the parasympathetic system, and so there are many things that could possibly help. I generally find they fall into 4 basic categories: disorders of pain, mood, sleep, and appetite, which can be quite a lot of diagnoses that can be difficult to list. So I love this open-ended way of doing it.
Yes, I'm all for that. Exactly. Rico, you have anything you want to throw in on this, Dr. Mark?
I'm pro Hawaii, and I am pro.
Did you say pro Hawaii? It's Hawaii, not Hawaii.
It's actually Hawaii.
He's
there's a glottal pause there.
I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there, Rico. It was noticeable.
What I do there, Jason?
I'm pro Hawaii.
Idahos, Utahos, Weedahos, all of the hoes.
You know what's funny? When I was at Boise State College at football camp, we had a song that was similar to that we used to sing.
Were you on the blue turf? Was it blue turf while you were there?
Yeah, it was.
It's been blue turf.
It was blue turf. Yeah. Their colors are orange and blue. The Broncos, Boise State Broncos.
Yeah, my homeboy Big Maurice actually played there. He is Marshawn Lynch's older brother.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What position did you play, Jason?
I was a defensive end.
He was a back.
Tackle the quarterback.
He was a wide back.
I was actually so fast they actually had to change the name to running back, Dr. T.
He was a loose end.
Stop it. I was an all-star, bro. That's what you talking about.
Oh man. So I'm all for expansion of access, and if these people are getting it, awesome. Jenny Beth, I didn't catch the beginning of your story there. But I do know that you are in touch with a lot of folks that are on the ground out there. Do we have any updates on the legal movement out there? Any positive information on that?
This whole story was positive, Rico.
This is medical, though, Rico.
It's medical. I know it's medical. I was like, do we have any other updates on Hawaii?
I don't. I'll follow up on that, but I don't at this moment.
Rico, this is a fantastic update. I don't understand why you're trying to poo-poo it.
I'm not poo-pooing it. I was saying, do we have any other news? I was saying I love everything about Hawaii. I said I love Hawaii cannabis. I love the expansion of access. And I was asking Jenny Beth, because she's tapped in with the people down there, do we have any other updates on what's going on down there on the ground in the industry? That was it, Jason.
Well, I told you what's happening on the beach. They've all basically turned into Venice Beach with these sign flippers saying, hey, come get your medical cards here because you can get it for anything. That's the update.
Thank you all for tuning in for another week of High at 9 News. You can catch us live on weekdays at 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans getting their comments posted live on the base screen, announced live by the team. Do we have any today, Jason?
None today. It's all right. The people are trying to save their money for an amazing weekend, and shout out to all of y'all for being here with us today. Thank you all so much.
Or maybe they're feeling the pinch from this Trump economy, this Trumpflation.
Stop.
Vibes are down.
Yeah. I don't know about all that. I think that's total bullshit. I think everyone's feeling the thing. I mean, you know, the reality of it is the egg prices are down, and I'm about to go fry up 4 eggs right now just because of it.
Yeah, egg prices are down to what? To $10?
$3.85 for a dozen.
Oh. Where is this at, Jason?
All over the place. I mean, Steve even showed me a picture of the egg prices in Mexico yesterday, and the egg prices are way down, way down. Bottom of the barrel.
God. Yeah. Word to the wise. Take everything that Jason says as a lie.
Just look on my X account. You'll find it.
No, I don't know. But big love to all the live audience, online supporters across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team. Oh my God, got a little cotton mouth. Sorry about that.
It's gonna be all right, Rico.
Tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, and all the sponsors keeping our lights on. AV struggles to a minimum. Anthony behind the scenes keeping things in check. Thank you too, my brother. We love you. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you as well. It has been Friday, March 21st, 2025. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until Monday. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. And I think today we're gonna
hold on before you do that. Steve threw in the chat. He said 30 eggs for $5.50 in Mexico. Look at that. Down.
In Mexico.
Down. It's Mexico. Yep.
Yeah. In America, they're still above $10.
No, they're not. No way. Bro.
Not if you get farm fresh
eggs. No way, bro. I just got
to a farm and get your eggs from a farm.
I just got 30 eggs.
I was at the grocery store last night, dude. So let's just chill.
I got 30 eggs at Costco for $8. Stop it.
That's not
Dr. T. Why don't you take us out today, man?
Sure. Shout out to the egg industry for making a buck off of us.
Yeah.
And the hemp industry for taking over the market. Reminding them to remember that there's still patients consuming their products. Keep them safe and effective. But welcome aboard.
Yes.
Goodbye to the regulated cannabis industry.
Gotta love it, man.
Mexico, they're huevos.
Yes, they are. That's right. That's what the sign said in the picture too.
Huevos grandes.
I bet. All right, you guys, we're out of here. Go ahead, run it, Anthony.